It's Rusky midweek update. Yo, let's kick it. That's a good one. Alright guys, welcome back. Just thought I'll give you a quick update on what's happening with this monstrosity of a thing. It's been a week or so, or 2 weeks since the last kind of update, what's been happening with this. There's so many, absolutely humongous amount of small jobs that it's pointless to film, or I can't really make anything out of those videos as separate videos. There's a few things like seal stands. I made you a special video because there's been a few requests. But everything else is just sort of small little updates, and honestly I'm running out of time, so I don't have the patience, the effort to sort of set up the camera for everything, sort of small little bits, but they're kind of self-explanatory. So let me just show you what has been done. Let's start from the back. So the back is pretty much ready to accept a fuel tank. So what I did is I put my supporting rods, they're T45 25mm, literally in the same position as the previous shell, so it slots in, obviously all checked, obviously all the tabs, everything is there. I also welded my supports for the diffuser. They're basically just a square box section with a thread and M8 bolt, so that's for the adjuster there. All I will need to do is when the cover goes on top, just put some rib nuts, but that's after the shell is painted. By the way, it's getting painted tomorrow, Thursday, supposedly. What color, I'm not going to reveal yet. You'll see something simple. Yeah, I'll probably make a separate video on what is going to happen and who is going to help me do that. So what else has been happening with the rear? We changed all the bolts, so that's all good. So basically nothing else needs to be talked about here. Also, my amazing Racetech carbon Kevlar seat. It comes with rear support and actually supposed to be mounted both underneath and from the back. On the previous shell I didn't have this, but on this one I will. So I've added this bar. This is 31mm T45. I machined some bosses, and then I'm gonna be making, yes, you know it, carbon bracket that bolts to here and to the seat. And the beauty about this is that the seat becomes part of the chassis, so gives extra strength to everything else. But yeah, I have space, I have the know-how, so why not do this? Also, at the back, the battery is gonna go pretty much into the same location, somewhere around there. All the rib nuts are there already. Also, my fire extinguisher is going to be on a very similar location. It's actually currently being sent to Clubman Motorsport. Rob, thank you very much for very quick service, as always. I mean, it will be a quick service, but the previous services. Anyways, extinguisher is going to be with him tomorrow, hopefully, and then I'll get it next week sometime. So the rear is all good. Yeah, I've been playing some 5-string guitar lately. There will be a separate video on this. Quite excited about this because obviously this is metal. We want it Kevlar because the whole car needs to be Kevlar. We need to cover the wheels, we need to make it all nice and light, sexy. So this is just work in progress, just some ideas, Okay, on the inside. Inside is pretty much as usual. The seat has been out a few times and stuff. I finished modifying the seat rails. They're all as per MSA FIA standards. It's a 35mm box section. Then I have proper threaded bosses machine. They're all TIG welded everywhere around, so that's absolutely perfect. The bases are 5mm, so that's all good. So the seat location is absolutely perfect. The shifter has been mounted. I welded bosses onto the shell itself, so it's all sort of bolts from the top, so you don't need to go underneath and bolt and whatnot. So it's in a perfect position like I want. And one thing I've been waiting for, custom shifter cable. Yeah, let's break everything. So look at this, not sponsored or anything. paid with my own money. I forgot the name of the company, Custom Shifter Cables or whatever. I'll leave a link in the description, guys, because this is like a great find. They do anything, any cable you want, they can make it. So I'm just impressed, and very quick turnaround. So this cable can pull at 92 kilograms and push at 64 kilograms. Plenty enough for a sequential gearbox. It's 2 meters long. So it will go, because I need to reverse the direction of the pulls. So it will go from the back of the shifter, underneath the car, all the way to the front, to the gearbox. Simple, right? So that just needs to be sort of attached and everything. On the inside, you know, business as usual. We have all the Haltech goodies. Well, not all of them, but some of them already kind of mounted onto the panel that I made from Kevlar. Elite will stay here, PD16 will stay here. I have 2 of them. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put second one here or somewhere else, or even if I'm gonna fit one just yet, because essentially I'm running out of time, like I said, and one will be enough to get the car going, and then if I need extras, I will find space, maybe somewhere here or even at the back. What do you think about the switch panel? Yeah, I want it clean. This is going to be clean. There's going to be nothing here. Very minimal wiring. Just want it super clean. So I decided to put switches there. I mean, why not? It's within reach. It's right in your sort of eyesight. And I think it's going to be really, really cool, sort of having it there like a little phone. Speeding Parts sent me a mirror. I just need to weld a couple of tabs so it goes there. Very, very cool feature to have this sort of really wide mirror, because you barely use your side ones when you have such a wide one. The dash is in place, like I said, so this thing is in place. Also gear shifter for my sequential box. That usually people put them somewhere in the center of the dash, somewhere here. I don't know. I have my gauges here, and then it's just going to look a bit naff. So what I'm doing is I'm actually changing the position of my Haltech IC7 dash. Before, the dash was sitting here like that. DTA dash had a smaller screen. So what I did, I managed to put the position of it absolutely perfect, so it goes right through the steering wheel, like that. So when you're sitting, you can actually see the dash in between. This dash is 7 inches big. So when I put it like that, it literally, no matter what I do, it will cover the top portion. And the top portion is the coolest portion because it has RGB LED strip, fully programmable. They are your shift lights, they are warning lights and everything. And it's integral for a race car to have those warning lights, because I can have the oil temperature, oil pressure warning light, the battery warning light. And if I can't see it behind the steering wheel, I mean, I can if I sort of do that, but who wants to do that when you're fully strapped in? So the dash is going to go into here, into the binnacle itself. So what I'm making is I actually made a template like this. So I'm going to make a little simple carbon sort of cover that sort of goes a little bit around, and the dash will mount on top. And then it leaves me this bracket that I made for my previous dash. So the shifter is going to go here, and it sits right underneath the dash, so it's not going to intervene with the view, and it's in between the steering wheel like the previous one. So I'll have the numbers right in front of you. Always wanted to have those numbers. I think it's super cool. So the bracket I already made. Yeah, I know you'll be disappointed it's not carbon, but it doesn't need to be carbon. It's just a simple aluminum bracket, obviously dimple dyed and everything for strength, and it just sort of just simple thing to hold it in place, just drying. I mean, it's dry already. Another thing that I have done is, kind of did the assembly on the T7 water plate kit. I'm waiting for a few fittings, but this thing is just a marvel of engineering. I mean, T7, thank you so much for coming on board. And I mean, this new version, Mark II, because I've been comparing pictures and I've seen some videos, and This new bracket is a game changer. Honestly, it will make it so sturdy, because the previous one, the alternator was attached through sort of like a stud. This one has its own bracket, as you can see. So I'm just waiting for a proper alternator, because it takes standard alternators, and mine is a K24 whatever. Anyways, just different lugs, so wouldn't fit. So that literally will be ready to be bolted onto the engine. The engine is out again, because like I said, the car is getting painted on Thursday, tomorrow. So this engine is out, hopefully for the last time before it gets started. What I need to do is I need to take the gearbox off, and then take off the custom machined adapter plate off again. Check everything again, check all the bolts, because this was basically just bolted very, very, very loosely. Flywheel, clutch, everything needs to go on the inside, obviously double checked and everything, so that should be good. Currently I'm actually battling with my sort of coolant sort of routing issues things. I'm not quite sure what to do with this housing. I have one from T7, this one I'm not sure. I might just use the standard one modified for AN16 sort of takeoff and feed that for now, and then I don't know, hopefully something will show up. Also modified my amazing work of art, I would say, work of art gearbox mount that was done by Sean Gosling at Grid. What I had to do is I had to add those risers, because we didn't know the final sort of height. I made them 2 mil shorter, so the gearbox will sit slightly higher for clearance. Yeah, TIG welded those little sort of risers, because I had the spacers in between, and before people was like, oh, why do you have so many spacers? Can't you just put a tube? That was always the plan. The tube is there now. So just, yeah, I need to paint it, I think. I mean, I do like this kind of like naturally weathered sort of T45 sort of color. But obviously will rust because it's still mild steel. Yeah, there is nothing else to say about this sort of engine while it sits on here. I still need to weld AN10 oil return fitting for the thing. Also, my reservoir for brakes is fitted. Welded a bracket onto this sort of onto the cage, so it's gonna sit here. And also my fuel cooler is gonna sit in basically the same position, because I already have a NACA duct in a wing, directs air from the outside through the cooler, as you can see, just making everything nice and cool. Also, front suspension is assembled. What I did is I had to change the brake discs because they were cracked from last year. So Pure Motorsport kindly supplied me with new brake rotors, and also I replaced the bearings. And oh my god, the bearings. And I have to give the shout out to Mark. Mate, Clio friend, came for 2 days and stayed, and we just basically went through quite a few different jobs. There's a few missing on the board we just crossed off, and this was one of the main jobs that I asked him to sort of help me out with. And the bearings, they were so tight. I mean, look at this.
Why can't we get this bearing out? Circlips off. It moves one way, but not all the way. Won't go the other way.
We've literally been bending this thing like crazy. I mean, that's already been fixed. We're like, you can see. So this thing is 15 tons. We knocked it with a hammer and it moved. But now we just, I don't know, soaking it in WD. We applied heat. We exerted 15 tons of pressure. And it's just not budging. Yeah, 15 tons of pressure wouldn't even budge it, so we had to cut it on the inside to relieve the pressure. That's good. That's a good sign. Keep going.
It fucking went.
Yeah.
Oh, it's getting very stiff again.
That's what she said.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, happy to announce that it's on, and hopefully all it needs to do is just sort of geo adjustment and stuff. And I made my track rods. You've probably seen it on my Instagram. I made it. So the previous ones were too short. I couldn't find the correct length, so I found much longer length from something different car, whatever, but it fitted perfect. And then I had to cut 50 mil off, and then what I did, I welded them together, sleeved them, blah blah blah, painted them. So now it's absolutely all perfect. Okay, so I think this is long enough of an update. I mean, pedal box is there as well, converted. I actually have my electronic shifter potentiometer already attached, so just basically needs plumbing. And for plumbing, I will update you as well. Plumbing is one thing I am kind of looking forward to, because again, I have an amazing company, a friend coming over to help. I'll obviously make a full video out of that, because you guys need to know this. It's gonna be absolutely sick. Yeah, running out of time completely. I think it's officially 20 days until we're at Cadwell. I don't know. I truly don't know. Saying that the majority of components are there, so now it's literally just assembly. I did start on the wiring on my Haltech ECU and everything, but I don't know how long is a piece of string. This long. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe.